Hello everyone, PhillyItGirls.com. We're here with the lovely Chelsea Lynn. Chelsea, say hi to everyone out there.
Hi.
So she's an up-and-coming R&B singer, already making big waves overseas. So we have the honor to be able to sit here with you today and discuss some of your upcoming projects and your album coming out.
Yes.
So, give me a little more background about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm originally from upstate New York, in a little town called Pine City. It's one main street called, Pennsylvania Avenue, and I have a little street off of that. So most people have never heard of where I'm from, but I'm from the Boondocks. And my dad was a professional musician in the 60s. He was part of the group, the original Upsetters, and they toured with like the Isley Brothers, Little Richie, stuff like that. Majorly toured all over the country. So I've really kind of been singing my whole life. I moved here to go to school, and I feel like I kind of needed like independence from my family. You know, when you're like kind of young and you want to get away from your mom and your dad. Well, my mom actually was raised in Cheney. My grandfather was a professor at Cheney for 42 years.
Okay.
So if you've ever been in the Logan Annex, that's my grandfather.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's really cool. I thought that was really cool.
Definitely. Cheney's a big school. A lot of people go to that school.
I do have history here, yeah. I mean, I didn't grow up here, but I do have history. My grandfather was a professor. So my grandfather built my grandmother a home here. No one was, there was nobody in the home. And I'm like, okay, I want to get out on my own, but gosh, bills. So
that's the smart thing to do.
I moved into my mom and dad's. When my grandparents deceased, my mom was an only child, so the home was just there. I moved in there, and luckily I didn't have to pay any bills.
Right.
I still had to have a job for my own purposes,
but it wasn't as hard.
Exactly, and I was also like 300, 400 miles away from mom and dad, so I was able to like do some stuff on my own. And then I went to Westchester University and got a degree in vocal musical theater and technology.
Wow.
I went to a gifted high school in New York where I studied theater, and we used to go to like Broadway and stuff like that. Once a month we would go to a play. And I thought I really wanted to do theater. When I was like 3 years old, it was, I want to be Whitney Houston. And I still feel like that. Like, I don't care what she goes
Even
through.
a new Whitney?
You know what? I believe that every family has a new Whitney in their family.
Sure.
Uncle, aunt, you know what I mean? So I feel like I'm okay with that. And I'm not perfect, and I thank her for showing us, even though people judge it, that she's not perfect. Nobody is really perfect. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'd be the new Whitney too, without all the scars from shooting up or whatever, smoking, whatever it is, like I'm not trying to hate, but I've never done drugs in my life. Music is my high. It's really weird because I always describe performing as like such an adrenaline rush. It's almost like being high. Like I come off the stage and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel great. And that's how I know that that's what I'm meant to do. You know what I mean? Because nothing else gives me that rush. Like coming off stage or even coming out of the booth, like I've gotten hurt in the booth, because I feel like you're supposed to feel, the audience is supposed to feel what I'm feeling in that song. And so if it means it's a high energy club song, I might be bouncing off the walls. I've, broken into tears in, sad songs that I've performed or written, and so I'm part of all of it. And basically, it's kind of weird. I was doing some work with 100.3 The Beat, and I happened to be at a listening for Pharrell, like way back in, like I think it was like 2006. And after that, maybe later on, I don't know if it was a week or so later, a lot of us got together and we went to Old City. And one of the guys who's a graphics designer here had a great crush on one of my girlfriends. So it's really kind of coincidental that I became an artist here, because when I was in college, I was really into school and I worked full-time. And when I got out of college, I was like, I need to find a place to get rooted again, because I did a lot of music in New York. And I just never found that place where I was comfortable. And I didn't feel like a lot of people took me seriously because I'm a girl. And then when you're not, not to call anyone not as cute, but when you're a girl and you're not, you're attractive, even more people don't take you seriously.
Absolutely.
It's like, how do I get your phone number? How about you come to the studio at 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, really though?
All the madness that comes with
like
a pretty girl entertainment.
Why are you calling my phone at 3 o'clock in the morning? I don't know you. Don't call me cutie. Don't call me sexy. Like, I know those things, are great adjectives that describe me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if we don't know each other like that, like
Absolutely.
I just want to keep it professional, and that's really, really important to me, that I am able to keep it professional and that I am taken seriously. So I pride myself on being as classy as I can.
That's a great thing.
I pride myself on being aware of what I do, that I try to be as attractive as I can, but cover as much skin. I don't want to display something that I'm not.
Absolutely.
My weight fluctuates and goes up and down. I have fat girl pants, I have skinny girl pants. You know what I mean?
I love you, yes, yes.
So I don't want anyone to think I'm fake, you know what I mean? Because
definitely.
I'm probably in my opinion, I always say when I meet people, hi, I'm Chelsea Lynn. You may like me, you may not like me, but I'm real, you know? Exactly. What you get, I talk all the time. I probably talk too much. But like I said, I eat, I will lick my fingers in public, you know? Like I said, I just try to do the best that I can, but this is something I'm really passionate about, and that, you know, I hope people take it seriously. I've worked really hard, and when they do get to hear the album, which will be called 5 Words, You Know Who You Are, it is really kind of directed not towards specific people, but to people that, groupings of people who have affected me. There's a song called My Heart, which is something that, you know, I've been, you know, desperately devastated by a lot of different guys, or not a lot of different guys, but, you know, the couple of guys that I dated, you know, since I started dating, you get your heart broken, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And so a lot of that is real, and like I said, I've fallen into tears recording. So
tell me about Control, and that new single that's your first single out.
Control is my first single. The original is just myself, and then the remix so far includes Oskino Vasquez. It is really a piece that was written about my boo. It's really kind of like, I feel like it can go either way, male or female, and I feel like it's when you find yourself doing things that you would never have thought that you would have done, whether it be, you know, I'm not going to date someone who has a child, and you really care so much for them that you throw all of your I'm not going to the wayside, you know what I mean, because they are amazing, you know what I mean, and I feel like with all the negativity in the world, you know what I mean? Because I said that. I was like, I ain't even dating nobody. You know what I mean? I need all the attention. And you find yourself doing all these things that you would never do. You know what I mean? So, like, right when it starts out, every time I think I've gone further, I find myself going even farther. And so that's really what the song is about. You can take it in a lot of different ways, and they're more than welcome to do that, you know what I mean? Whether it be a little freaky, we all have that side as well, you know what I mean? But it could really just be something as simple as, you know, like I said, just acknowledging and doing things to be with someone that you never thought you would do before.
Every day.